Good morning, Facebook. Coach Karen Mays, a lady on the journey. I'm maybe just a few steps ahead of you on the journey. Maybe not. Maybe you're ahead of me, depending on who you are and where I know you from. But I was on Zoom this morning with a bunch of other coaches. One of the perks of my job is that I get to hang out with a bunch of other like-minded people for a few minutes every day. And it's my choice to show up and be around them because it helps me. It helps me think. And I am inspired to come on and talk to you before I put my makeup on. I barely brushed my hair. So before we dive into 2021, I want to talk a little bit about fear, because mostly I come on here and talk to you about positive thinking and mindset, managing your mindset. And this morning we were talking about those moments when we are telling ourselves negative stories, the self-talk. We all have the negative self-talk, at least everybody I know does. And so the important thing is to be aware of it, acknowledge it, and then what do you do about it? What do you do? Not even do about it. Because, I could get negative. I'm very capable of going down a hole and getting negative about my negative self-talk. Like, I've been working on this a while now. Why am I still having negative self-talk? But what's more important is to acknowledge it. And one of the things I like to do is to say, well, even if all of those negative things I'm thinking are true, what happens next? What do I do next? And I'm not accepting that all those negative things are true, because believe me, it can get catastrophic in here. and it happens less and less. And I have to battle it less and less, but it's still there. It's still part of me. And so a lot of it is fear-based, right? So what do we do with the fear? And what I used to think was appropriate, in fact, was to push it down, ignore it, and push through anyway. But what I've learned is that it's actually more important to acknowledge it, feel it, figure out what the fear is actually about, and what aspect of it can I control. If I can control what I'm fearful of, if I can influence that outcome in a real way, and I'm being really radically honest, can I influence the outcome of this fear that I'm having? If the answer is yes, then it's on me then at that point to take responsibility and take action. If the answer is no, that it's really not my responsibility, it's not my thing, I can't control other people's behavior or other people's thoughts or, perceptions, then I need to let it go. Acknowledge it and then let it go. And then get into action, whatever action looks like. Action could be cleaning the house. Action could be doing the dishes. Whatever it is, action is usually the remedy. But first, it's important to acknowledge it, not push it down, not ignore it, because let me tell you, that's a lot of what contributed to me being 100 pounds or more overweight, was ignoring fears and emotions and pushing them down and ignoring. And one of the real values of committing to a structured eating system for me was, it was no news to me that I ate out of emotion or stress, that I used food as a coping mechanism. But by committing to a certain structure, eating every 2 to 3 hours, 6 times a day, it made me so aware of when I would be reaching for it. Sometimes it was just habit. It wasn't always emotional, finishing food off my kids' plates. But sometimes, this thing that has nothing to do with food or hunger or it doesn't seem to have anything to do with anything would cause me to want to go open the cupboard, open the fridge, get that candy wrapper, whatever it is. Go to the drive-thru. That's a big one. And that awareness is priceless. It really is. Awareness is the first step. So that is something I want, as I move into 2021, and I have a lot of big plans. I'm going to be sharing a lot of it with you tomorrow. I have chosen a word after a lot of ruminating on what my word is. I wanted to make it one word and not I like simplicity, let's be honest. So I wanted one word that could really speak to all aspects, all areas of my life. And it took a little while for me to figure out what that one word was and really delve into what that means to me. And I'll share a little bit more about that tomorrow. But I wanted to come on it just because I think it's important before all the hoopla about entering a new year is to acknowledge the fear. And I'll just share some of mine with you. I fear that 2021 is not going to be that different from 2020. And for a lot of people, that's going to be really, really hard to deal with. I fear that, people are going to have a hard time getting back out and not being scared to be around other people. I find myself even now, I'm watching a show while I fold laundry or something. I'm like, why are those people so close to each other? They should be wearing masks. And I'm not a germaphobe. I'm not, I am respectful and I take appropriate safety measures, but I'm not super afraid. So what about the people who are? How hard is it going to be for them to get back out in the world without fear and get into relationship again? I fear that, the world is forever changed, and you know what? It is. So what's that going to look like? How are we going to navigate that as a society? I fear that the divisions in our society are too great to manage, and that they are dividing families and friends. I fear not seeing the top of the mountain. My own personal Mount Everest. But does that mean I shouldn't take the next step? No, I can acknowledge it and keep going and see how far I can get. And you know what? I might just get to the top. I believe that I can. So you don't have to believe that no matter what, whatever it is for you is going to happen, that success, 100% of the success will be there. Because I didn't believe when I started my journey 5 years ago, but I had a belief that it was possible. Just a little glimmer of belief that it might be possible. And that enabled me to take the first step, and then the next step. And then I started experiencing some wins, and that enabled me to take the next step, and the next step, and the next step. So acknowledge the fears, acknowledge the emotions, commit to the process, fall in love with the process. I don't know what your goals are for 2021. I have a fear of resolutions. That's another one of my fears, because I have so much experience of not keeping them. But what I do believe in now, as of the last couple of years, and really I've gotten to understand it on a much deeper level this year, is creating vision. I believe in creating a vision. And you might think you know what you want. You have this sort of vague idea. I challenge you. If you've struggled with seeing that through, get some pen and paper out. If you're digital, that's fine. But I think there's value in actual pen and paper. Get some pen and paper out and write about what it actually means to you. What are you actually seeing in your head? Get it on paper. And you might be surprised at what you see. And the more detail you can see it in, we talk about dreaming in HD, creating that vision that you can really see is going to make all the stuff you have to do to get there worth it. So work on that vision, accept the fear, accept the feelings, be aware, start to become aware of the stories that are going through your head that might be working against you, creating that vision in reality. You don't have to erase them. You don't have to push them down. But just be aware that they're there and that the action is what's going to get you there. It's the behavior and the action. And you need just a little bit of belief. If you really don't believe that what you want is possible, you're not going to do the work to get it. So what do you believe? Maybe you believe 25% of what you want is possible. So set your goal, set your sights on that. What do you need to do to get 25% of what you want? Because that's what I actually set a goal for 50% of what I wanted when I started my weight loss part of my journey. I said, that's impossible to lose over 100 pounds. So, but I know when I lose 50, I'll start to recognize myself. That's somewhere that it's a size I've been before, that I have been for many years. I will feel like myself in 50 pounds. But really the first goal was the first 10. But I got to the first 10 pretty quick. And so then I was able to move on. And I got to the first 50 much quicker than I thought I would. And so before I even got there, I had a new goal. I had a new vision. I had new belief. So challenge yourself. If you're setting these pie in the sky goals, these resolutions that I'm never going to touch cigarettes again, or I'm never going to eat out of emotion again, I'm never gonna, and then you do, well, then it's over. But if you create a vision and a trajectory, it's a whole different ballgame. So those are my thoughts. I'll be back again tomorrow to share more on New Year's Eve. I'm excited about 2021. I really am. I'm not going to be ashamed to say it. I'm excited about 2021. And I acknowledge the challenges of 2020 and the things that it's given me. And it's given me a lot. So get all your 2020 sucks energy out. And let's embrace 2021 for whatever it is. I worry for the people who think it's going to be totally different on January 1st. So let's be ready for whatever it is. We can do it. Whatever it is, we can do it together. Have a wonderful, wonderful day, everyone. I'll see you later.